How much training volume do you actually need in order to make progress in the gym? Well, luckily for you guys, I came up with a chart with the maximum amount of sets that you need to be doing per week and the minimum amount that you need to be doing per week for each body part. And I'm going to explain it in depth why I chose those numbers, why those numbers are optimal, especially when it comes to certain exercises. And of course, I saved the best one for last, which is calves. So make sure you stick around for that one. So let's get it started. So let's start with back. Your back is one of your biggest muscles in your body, and you need to be able to stimulate every part of your back. And in order to do that, you're gonna need a lot more volume. So that's why the maximum amount of volume that you could take for your back, between your lats, your rhomboids, all your mid back, we're looking anywhere between 12 total sets per week to 25 sets per week. Again, these ranges are going to be different based on every person listening to this, but these are general rules that are going to get you the maximum amount of results possible. So 12 to 25 sets per week. So if you're training back, I recommend twice per week, give or take the person who's listening to this, if it's a stubborn body part and whatnot. These are not hard rules here, guys. These are just general guidelines, and you need to experiment with these certain things to figure out, okay, do I need this much? Is this too much? Is it too little? Because I could tell you 25 sets, and maybe that's not enough for you. Maybe you need more sets than that. Or maybe you need less than 12 in order to get results. These are a general rule, okay? So back 12 to 25 sets. Now, moving on to biceps. Biceps are one of the most prominent body parts on people that they want to have the most changed. The cool thing about biceps is they recover very, very quickly. So they can handle a lot of load. If your goal is to bring up your biceps, you're going to need a lot more volume than you actually think, which is why the range here is a little bit bigger. So we got anywhere between 14 to 30 sets per week for biceps. So if your biceps are a lagging body part, you could do 10 sets of biceps 3 times a week, and that would get you there. And that would be enough volume to stimulate growth and push you into new levels of development. Now let's move on to triceps. The triceps get a lot more work with other things. Whenever you do any type of pushing movements, you're going to be involving your triceps a lot. If you're doing a bench press, especially if it's a close grip bench press, you're going to be hitting a lot more of triceps. So triceps need a little bit less than biceps. So we got anywhere between 12 sets a week all the way up to 20 sets a week. And I like this range for triceps. This way you can hit the different heads of the tricep with enough volume as well. All right, now let's go on to abs. Everybody's focus is abs. Remember, 70% of your results are going to come from what you eat when it comes to losing body fat. So if you want to see a six-pack, you need to really focus on diet. But on the other side of it, I do like to train abs in order to bring out the definition and bring out the boxes that you have. Remember, your abs are just like every other muscle group. You need to train them if you want to actually see more development when you get leaner. So abs can kind of take a beating. They're used in a lot of different exercises like squats, overhead presses, and things like that. But direct ab work, anywhere between 16 to 25 sets a week, was adequate enough to really develop the boxes and really push them through. So when you get lean, you really have a nice six-pack underneath the show. All right, the chest. Now, the chest, most people would probably put this number higher. My maximum amount is 20 per week. The minimum is 12. But the reason why I don't is because you really don't need a lot to stimulate chest. Just think about it. If you have your flat bench pressing or some type of flat pressing, whether it's dumbbell or whatever, you have an incline movement, incline dumbbell, barbell, machines, and then you have like a fly motion. Those 3 movements cover the entirety of the chest, right? Like you don't need to be doing, and it drives me crazy when there's guys in the gym doing, flies on the decline, flies in the middle, flies from the top. There's no reason to do all that extra junk volume. I'd rather take that volume from that and put it toward something else that needs more work, like maybe your biceps or triceps or whatever. Move that volume around. But I think if you did anywhere between 12 to 20 hard sets of chest a week, that's adequate enough to grow your chest and to develop that fortress chest. All right, now the shoulders, I broke the shoulders down into all 3 parts. right? We have the front delt, we have the side, we have the rear, and then if you want to include the traps in there, we could. That's 4 parts. But I broke it down. The reason why I just didn't put shoulders and just put a number was because each of these body parts bring up that whole area. Shoulders is not just one category like chest. Like whenever you do a chest motion, you're hitting mostly the chest. But shoulders, that you have to hit those muscles from different angles. So we'll start with the front delts. Front delts probably is the least amount of volume that you actually need, because when you do your your bench pressing, you're going to be hitting some of the shoulder there as well. So there's no need to really throw in more pressing movements for the front delts. And in fact, the longer I do this, the less I think you actually need to do direct overhead work, because it's just really not as important. You're going to get enough stimulus of your front delt through pressing in general. But we'll throw some in there. So anywhere between 6 to 10 per week is adequate enough to develop nice front delts. Now moving on to the side and rear delts. The side and rear delts can really, just like the biceps, they recover quicker and they can take and handle a lot more volume. If you want to develop cap delts and those round shoulders, you really got to focus on this area right here, the middle delt and the rear delt. So we got anywhere between 14 and 20 sets a week just on side and rear delts. Again, keeping the movement simple. You don't have to do 100 different varieties. But if you did a dumbbell lateral raise and a cable lateral raise, that's adequate enough to give you enough volume to stimulate there. And you don't need to be doing all these different variations. Just pick 2 or 3 that you like and feel the most and ride that out. Same thing with rear delt. Rear delt flies with dumbbells, rear delt fly with cable, or a face pull, or a pec deck. Any one of those works just as well. But 14 to 20 sets. Now, let's move on to traps. Your traps are one of your biggest muscles of your body. They're a kite-like muscle that starts from the back of your neck, they slope down to the shoulders, and then they shoot down to the middle of the back and come back up. They kind of look like a kite. So traps can also take a lot of volume. A lot of people have stubborn traps. So the more volume we could throw in there at the traps, the better the development is going to be. So with traps, we're looking at anywhere between 12 to 25 sets a week. Again, depending on the person and if they have lagging traps, if they don't have lagging traps, but again, simple movements, shrugs, I like a trap bar shrug is good, dumbbell shrugs. Keep it simple, just focus on hammering those muscles. All right, now let's move on to legs. Again, I split legs up into quads, hamstrings, and calves. So for quads, we got anywhere between 12 and 18 sets, and hamstrings anywhere between 10 and 18 sets as well. Now, again, where do you categorize some of the movements, right? So depending on how you perform a squat, you could be more quad focused or you could be more hamstring focused. So you're really going to have to pick and choose. So for example, when you do a front squat, you're going to use primarily the quads that's going to be the primary driver there. But if you're a power lifter and you do a squat with a low bar, that's going to hit more hamstrings and more glutes. So I also forgot to mention glutes in here as well. But so we got quads, hamstrings, and glutes. So if you did the low bar, those would count toward that. Quad focused movements, leg extension, hack squats, those types of movements. And again, hamstring type movements, you're looking at your deadlifts, your most posterior chain type stuff, your RDLs. That's the range for that. Now the last one, and the one that you've been waiting for the most, your stubborn calves that aren't growing. The only way to get your calves to grow, everybody has trouble growing calves. I don't understand why. The only way to do it is to pump up the volume and hammer them and hammer them and hammer them. So anywhere between 15 and 25 sets a week. So that means that if you trained 5 days a week, you could do calves 5 days a week, 5 sets every workout. That would be a good way to get that total volume in, and that wouldn't fatigue you for anything else that you're doing for that day. So that's a good way to add and really blow up your calves and turn your calves into cows. Okay? And be simple with calves. I should do a whole video on calf training, but keep it simple. Focus on 1 or 2 movements that you like and you really feel in the calf, and you're going to get the best development with those. So guys, that's it. Sets per week. Screenshot this, save this, so this way you know, and keep your working sets here. Now, one thing I want to mention too before I hop off, these are hard sets of stuff that you feel. This is not junk volume. This is, so let's say, for example, my best movement for biceps is dumbbell alternating curls. Those are the ones that I consider my mass movement. I really feel every rep of those. The quality of the contraction that I get is ideal. So, hypothetical, if I did 14 sets of those per week, that was the maximum amount. But if I chose something else for biceps that I didn't really feel, like let's say, I don't know, waiter curls, right? If I did those and I didn't feel them, that would be junk volume. So you want this type of volume to be good quality contractions and good quality reps that you're getting in. If you want help with any of this, make sure you click the links below for programs and other things. And this was Anthony, AB Fitness Center. I'll catch you on the next one. Remember, 70% of your results will come from what you eat. Nutrition is the foundation for your success, and small changes can make a big difference. Our nutrition coaching program is designed to provide you with personalized support and guidance to reach your goals faster, regardless of where you live. If you're interested in taking your nutrition to the next level, click the link to find out more.